Hello everybody, welcome back to Matura Express. My name is Timna and today we're going to do some trial exams. Alright, so as I just said, today is about trial exams and the topic is social ties. So first of all, I'm going to talk you through the first exam and then we'll demo it to you, me and my colleague. And then the same thing with the second exam, and of course I'm going to tell you then what was good, what maybe could have been added, and so on and so forth, so that you know how that could look like in your exam. Okay, so let's jump right in and look at the first exam. Yeah, perfect. Alright, so the first exam we're going to look at today is about modern family. You have the same introduction as always, of course. You will be asked some questions about your career, future plans, etc. And today we're going to focus on education, past, present and future, as we talked about last time. And then your task 1 is the modern family. Monologue, of course. Situation, you work as a family counselor. Let me just make that a bit bigger. You work as a family counselor and you have been asked to hold a seminar for families who are the examiners on modern family life. Your task is to give a brief presentation to the audience about modern families, talk about the different types of families, so like classic families with 2 parents, 2 children, I don't know, single parent families, patchwork, or families with children from different people, intercultural families, how families have changed over the past decade, so what's new in modern day and age, how have families changed basically, and reasons for these changes. And then if you've done that, we go on to task 2, which is modern lifestyle and family. So a dialogue, and after your talk you open the discussion up to questions from your audience about the impact our modern lifestyle, including work life, modern media and communication devices, has on families. Use the information from the attached text, technology, blaming family life, blame the parents, see link below. You have the link in the live chat now and then in the video description later if you want to check it out. And use your own ideas as well during the conversation. And then of course, as always, you have the follow-up discussion, which you can't forget. And that's basically it for the first exam. I think maybe we just jump right in. Perfect. Hello.
Hello.
Would you like to maybe introduce yourself first?
Yes, my name is Katrin, and I'm here to take my A-levels.
Sorry, 1 second.
No, that's okay.
Yeah?
I'm here to take my A-levels, and yes, I'm a nurse.
Very nice.
I just finished my training.
Oh wow, okay.
And now I'm looking for new career steps.
Very interesting.
Yes.
So what schools did you attend then in order to become a nurse?
Well, I first went to a primary school, and then I attended the grammar school, but I dropped out, so I didn't make it all the way to the A-levels.
Okay.
And then I went to a training school to become a nurse. Yes.
Interesting. And
Yes.
so what were your favorite subjects in primary school and grammar school?
In primary school it was arts. I had lots and lots of fun. You could be very creative, and it was we had a really good teacher, and it was always a good time. In grammar school, the only subject I really liked was biology, because it had topics like the human body and blood circulation, and I liked that very much.
All right, that's how you found out you wanted to be a nurse.
Yes, that is what got me into thinking about working with people, and then I decided becoming a nurse would fit my interests best, but I was just not so much into math and sadly enough English, so that's why I had to drop out of grammar school.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let's jump right into our situation, and maybe you would like to start with task 1?
Yes. Good evening, families. Welcome to my talk about modern family life. My name is Katrin. I'm a family counselor, and I have worked with families, counseling them for about 5 years. And my topic today will be what is the modern family life today. So first of all, we see that in the last couple decades that family has changed. So we have more divorces, which open up the patterns to new family constellations. We have children spending more and more time in schools and free time activities. So that has changed family life a lot. And obviously we have the work life that has taken up more and more time in parents' lives. So the nuclear family doesn't really spend that much time anymore together. As I said before, with the divorces, new family patterns have arisen. So for instance, we have the blended family, which you could also say is a kind of like a patchwork family. So you have 2 parents who have or may have not children from marriages before. They bring them into the new marriage, and that is where you have the new pattern with like stepsisters, half sisters. The way is multiple. And then, as you may know, we have a big rise in the adoptive parent family, since more and more parents decide to adopt a child. And so that is what you call adoptive parent family. And what we also see, on the other hand, is a rise in childless families, which is mostly a decision of career or not with the families I have worked with. And then we also have a new rise in GLBT parent families, which is like gay, lesbian, bisexual, transsexual. And that is a really new development, because these parents were not allowed to adopt children or to take children into foster care beforehand. So this is a really new development. And reasons for these changes are, as I've said before, work habits. For instance, with childless families, I have a few parents I've worked with that said the reason that they are childless is that they just missed the point when to create a family. And so, yes, that is one reason, but not the only reason, of course. Another reason is, and this is basically probably the biggest reason why we have these new family patterns, is that marriage has changed. So the concept of marriage, before, like say 50 years ago, marriage was your safety net as a woman. You had your working husband who cared for you with money, with insurance, with home, with shelter, and you were supposed to yes, take care of the household of the kids. And this has changed. Women have begun to work a lot more, have taken on jobs that with which they can take care of a family. So people are not afraid anymore to split apart and then create new patterns. So marriage is basically not, in many cases, not a lifelong decision anymore, but more a part-time maybe.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank
So,
you.
do you have any questions about my talk?
Of course. Well, actually, you talked about a modern lifestyle and the impacts it has on families nowadays. So, do you think that the internet, modern media, and smartphones have a big say in that?
Well, I think so. I guess that with internet and modern media, you just tend to lose your focus quite a bit in daytime routines. And for instance, let's take an example. You sit with your family at the dinner table, and then your smartphone beeps, your well, pager, you don't have pagers anymore, but the WhatsApp beeps, and so you're constantly distracted from what should be a family time, what should be sitting together, really getting to know what is up in each other's lives. So I think could be a great harm if you do not have that in mind and really say, okay, this is an hour of not attending to your smartphone, to the regular phone.
Yeah, I guess you just get distracted way more easily with all the internet and apps and so on and so forth. And
yes, absolutely. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
That you have so much more channels to get distracted by than before, than let's say 20 years ago. And do you feel like we all get distracted like the same, or are there certain age groups that might respond more to that, or certain age groups that might be, I don't know, not as interested in those modern media things? Well, from my experience, the parents say age 40 till 60, they are very hesitant with the modern media. They see the harm over more than the benefits. So they are very distant to it when it comes to family and having smartphones and media and whatever in your family. But when it comes to the kids, or what we call the Generation Y, they are obviously so much more into that stuff and into that topic. So they, on the one hand, they are very distracted by it, but on the other hand, they are also more capable of handling all that stuff, or dealing with different apps at the same time. So it's really kind of like a generation clash here.
Yeah, you're probably right. Okay, well, thank you very much for this interesting
You're
conversation.
welcome.
And yeah, that's it for you today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so now that we've finished our first exam, it was quite long. Especially the first task was a bit long. Maybe remember that the examiners might stop you if you're going on for too long, because of course you shouldn't really exceed, and I think there's 15 minutes for the whole exam, and that has to include the follow-up discussion as well. So just keep that in mind. I know you probably think that it's easy to not talk for too long, but if you're talking and you're in your speech and there's ideas coming to your head constantly, then you just go on and you forget that you should actually kind of stop. So just keep that in mind. And yeah, she did use quite a lot of very good connectors and good phrases to indicate where she is, like first of all, and so on. So she divided up her speech or her monologue very, very nicely, so that the audience really knows what's going on and what she's talking about right now. Same goes for the discussion. It's very nice. She talked very, very freely and openly, and yeah. There's really not much more to say. So maybe let's go right on to the second exam we have here, which is virtual and real friendships. I'll make that a bit bigger for you. So, all right. So, again, you have the same introduction. Yeah, right. And in the introduction, as you just saw, she concentrated on her education, and she told us about her past education, where she went, what she did, which was very good. Yeah. So again, here you have the same introduction as always. Then you have the task 1, the influence of the internet on friendships. And you are a sociologist specializing in relationships, and your role is to investigate how making friends and keeping up relationships changes over time. So you basically are a professional on relationships and friendships, and you have been invited to hold a speech in a university. So the audience here are the examiners. Talk about how friendships have changed in the last 30 years, where people tend to make friends nowadays, and the influence of the internet on the way people make friends. So this task is very similar to the task we just saw, but it's more about friends and friendly relationships than about family. Now in task 2, you have, the follow-up discussion actually goes down there. Yeah, that's better. Let me just, no, that's better. All right, so task 2 is again a discussion about modern friendships with the audience. You talk about the problems with modern friendships, take information from the given articles in link below. Again, you have the link in the live chat or in the video description, and use your own ideas. Yeah, I think we'll just jump right in again. Mm-hmm. Hello, welcome back. Would you like to introduce yourselves one more time?
Sure. My name is Katrin. Mm-hmm. I'm a nurse, and currently I'm studying in the evenings to retake my A-levels.
All right, very interesting.
Yes.
So then what's your future plan in terms of education and so on?
I would love to go to university and take some management courses so that I could go into health management.
All right, that's interesting.
Yes.
So you want to be more than a nurse? You want to, or you would like to change your position?
Yes, I would. I have been a nurse for 3 years now, so I would like to just take the next step and then get into maybe nurse teaching, assisting in educating them in the hospital, and just becoming taking on some new responsibilities.
All right, perfect, interesting, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's just start with task 1. You are a sociologist, and free to start whenever.
Yes, thank you students for having me here, and thank you for attending my talk about friendships and keeping up relationships. I'm a sociologist, and I will talk about my experience and what my colleagues and I have researched on. So in the last 30 years, our lives have changed, and therefore also how we keep in contact with our friends and how we keep up friendships. The most important change is that you usually, or people tend to not stay in their hometown anymore, but they tend to move somewhere else for education reasons or for work reasons. So that is a change in how you keep up friendships, because you don't see them on a daily basis anymore as you used to be. Sorry. And that is somehow how, the definition of friends changed. Excuse me. So that friends are also friends even if you don't see them for half a year or don't talk to them for the reasons I just said. Also the way that we find friends have changed, where you used to see them in school or meet them through friends. Find them via Facebook. When you move to a new city, it's very common that you search for groups, for interest groups. I'm really sorry.
No problem.
You, as I said, you search for interest groups. Say you move to the Baltic Sea and you're really into kiting, then you go to Facebook and type in, I don't know, Stralsund, I don't even know if that's at the Baltic Sea, but kiting groups, and then you get feedback, and then you just meet the people there. There are also new friendships that are found via Tinder or apps like that. So you really have a virtual way of getting into friendships and expanding your friend net. And this is also the next point, that the internet has a great influence on how we make friends nowadays. First of all, because you use those apps, and second of all, you just keep up your friendships via internet. You send pics and texts instead of calling them for hours and hours, as that was the way in the past. Yes. Any questions about that?
Well,
Sorry.
Well, you talked about what a positive influence the internet has on the way people make friends. Are there any problems as well?
Well, yes, obviously that because you have a new definition of friends, kind of, and you find them also or mostly via the internet. Yeah. You present yourself in the internet, you are perceived through the internet, and so the downside is that it has become a bit more shallow. You pick your friends not because you hear a funny joke or whatever, but because you like their haircut. And you click on their profile because you like the jacket they wear. And it's not so much that you find them via common interests or I don't. I forgot what I wanted to say. I'm sorry.
I understand totally. So you feel like it's all becoming more and more like not really about the character, but more about how you look like or how you present yourself on the internet.
I'm convinced that first impressions have become so much more important than they used to be, because let's assume that 10 years ago you would have gone to a bar and then a friend brought a friend and first you were like, ugh, what's he like? And then you heard him talking and then you heard him crack a joke and then you thought, oh, okay, that's funny, that's witty, give him a second chance. But that is not really how it works on the internet. It is like you see the picture and you think "Wach,"
Yeah.
and then you just go to the next profile,
Yeah.
but you don't get back because you don't, like, you as the perceived image do not have a chance to react to anything.
Yes.
So I think that's the really big downside.
Yeah, I think that's also something we really have to remember, that there's people behind the profiles, right?
Yes.
And do you think that sometimes maybe also there's fake profiles that can mislead you to, like, think that you're making friends with a person, but there's actually no one behind that?
Most definitely. I mean, social bots and chatter bots are really big and really on the rise, because you have you can make good stuff with them if you're like a company and have certain interests. But I think it depends on how you're getting into the contact, like into a communication, because then you could really well see in a very fast way that this is a bot and a fake profile, not actually real. But if you just take on the friend invitation and then do nothing to it, then you might never know.
All right, well, thank you very much. That's it for your exam today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so we've now also finished with our second exam. Poor Katrin is losing her
Sorry.
voice. No, that's okay. Don't worry about it. What I wanted to say is, for example, if, like Katrin, you forget what you wanted to say, or you basically lose your thread, there's really no shame in that. That's just what happens in daily life as well. You can just say, well, I forgot what I wanted to say, I'm sorry, and just move on and say something else. That's really nothing to worry about. That's better than just sitting there and kind of trying to come up with something and trying to really remember what you wanted to say. If you just can't, just say you can't remember. It's fine. You're a human. It's okay. And yeah, what else? Again, using connectors is very important. Like in the next point, second of all, so on and so forth. And yeah, remember that everybody is human and we're all just here to pass the exam. So that's really it for today. Yeah, if you want to try and do a trial exam yourselves, or maybe just try and take some notes to do a monologue, you can just go back and look at the tasks and look at the text. And yeah, and otherwise we will just see you again next week, hopefully. Tune in and have a nice evening. Bye.